Ha ha, try that. All right, it was a month ago when trading was halted at the New York Stock Exchange for nearly 4 hours. What is the New York Stock Exchange doing to prevent this from happening again? I want to bring in NYSE Group President right now, Tom Farley, for a Fox Business exclusive. Tom, it's wonderful to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me back.
Thank you so much for joining us. You've been in place now as president of the NYSE for how long?
Just over a year.
Over a year, and here we have this glitch happening. Overall, how's business? And then I want to get your answer to what the heck happened last
Terrific. Thanks, Marina. Thanks for having me back on the show. Business is really doing well, largely because our customers' businesses are doing well. When I think of our three major businesses, listing, trading, and market data, we're either the global leader, increasing share significantly, or both in each of those segments. And the one that I'll highlight in particular that I'm proud of is our listings business. We continue to be the home of great technology companies and growth companies, whether it was Alibaba 11 months ago or more recently Fitbit, Shake Shack. We're on a roll there. And also transfers. We have several great companies transfer to the New York Stock Exchange. Just yesterday, we announced MSG, the owner of the Knicks and the Rangers.
That's a good one. Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
all right, we're going to talk more about your business in a second. We've got to get to this trading glitch.
Sure.
Because I think when you saw stock trading halted for 4 hours, we were all trying to figure out what the heck happened, why it was a computer glitch. First off, what exactly happened, Tom?
Sure. So, Maria, I've been on your show before, and I've talked about how complex the markets are in this country and how complex the systems are, and issues are going to arise. And on July 8th, we had issues arise with respect to our systems. It was brought to my attention at 10:45. I made the decision to take our markets down because stocks continued to trade on other markets, and I told our team, let's figure out what's wrong, let's fix it, let's communicate to the market. We put out 27 public-wide notices during that day. We brought the system back up without incident. We actually had a larger than usual close that day. Customer interruptions or disruptions to their business were minimal or zero in many cases, and we continued to communicate with the regulators throughout. Subsequent to that outage, we've gone back and we've said, hey, what can we do to make the market more resilient? And we found several ways to make it more resilient, both hardening our current systems, but also working with NASDAQ on some really important initiatives like backing each other up for the closing auction. So I feel like we, the New York Stock Exchange, but also the market at large, is actually in a better place now, a month later, than it was on July 8th when we had our mishap.
You know, it's sort of part and parcel to a broader story out there, and that is the New York Stock Exchange and its importance in the face of so many other places to trade. You know, we had Dick Grasso on the other day, and he basically said the New York Stock Exchange is one of several places. And, you know, on the day that we saw the trading halt, Charlie Gasparino was on the air making the point that, you know what, this just doesn't matter. Do you think after seeing what happened that day that it's clear that now the New York Stock Exchange is one of several venues? And by the way, if NYSE is not available, they'll go somewhere else. It's just not as critical and as important as it was so many years ago.
Let me just say, Dick Grasso is a friend. He's been very helpful to me, and he's a very gracious man, and I appreciate it. The New York Stock Exchange is the global leader. We are incredibly important, not just to the U.S. economy, but the global economy. We're number one globally in the trading of stocks, in capital raising, and we have a very significant presence in the psyche of not just the American public, but citizens the world over.
I agree, but is that perception? I mean, that day, it was okay. It didn't matter that the New York Stock Exchange was halted for 4 hours, did it?
Well, Fox Business had their best ratings of all time on that day.
Yeah, you're right. Maria. You're absolutely right.
So I think it underscores the relevance, the importance of the New York Stock Exchange. And I'll point out in the subsequent month, our share in equities trading has continued to increase. If I go back a year and a half ago in January, our share in the United States was about 20% of the U.S. market. Today, it's over 24%. And we're having not only a very strong July, but also an even stronger August.
What do you think about the fracturing of the markets, though? I mean, from a business perspective, have we become too fractured? Are there too many options for people to trade?
Yeah, without question, the markets are too complicated. And I say that because as I go and I meet people and I tell them, hey, I work at the New York Stock Exchange, instantly I get this positive recognition from them. But then very quickly it goes to, hey, what's going on with the equity markets? I don't really understand. I don't understand how trades are processed and completed. I don't always know which market it's traded on.
Makes people feel like the system's not fair.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we need to simplify that. We started at home. We're building a brand new trading platform. It's going to be a lot simpler, a lot more efficient, a lot easier to understand. But we're also advocating for multilateral efforts, whether in Washington, beyond, with our colleagues, to just simplify the darn thing.
Well, you mentioned a minute ago, I wanted to ask you a final question here about your business. You mentioned a minute ago that you're taking market share. What are the big deals that you're looking forward to rest of the year? Where's the business going to come from? Geographies or sectors or what?
Well, I don't want to comment on particular deals because it's hard for me to keep in my mind straight which have been announced,
which is announced and which isn't. Yeah.
And the last thing I would want to do is go make an announcement for a company. I can tell you that 2013 and 14 were record years for IPOs. The first half of 15 was actually a bit slower, but it has heated up in the back half of 2015, especially for very large deals. And I suspect we're going to see some very large IPOs in the latter half of this year.
Have you begun courting Uber yet?
Well, we look at all great companies. Clearly, Uber is a great company. I used Uber to get here to the studio this morning. And so we make it a habit and a practice to talk to companies early in their life cycle to make sure we understand their needs and we can have the best possible home for them when they go public.
So the sales pitch is in for Uber?
I don't want to speak specifically with respect to Uber.
Probably come end of year or next year. Tom, great to have you on the show today.
Great to be back.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tom Farley is the president at NYSE Group. Up next,